Hello, thanks for watching or listening to VIP Boxing's Bell to Bell podcast. We're on episode 122. Whether you're watching on YouTube or you've downloaded on iTunes or Spotify, thank you very much. And if you can leave a review, good, bad, indifferent, whatever you want to say, please do. You know me, Steve. You know John Evans, and you know the man in the top corner there making his Bell to Bell debut. He's a great friend of VIP Boxing's, regular at our shows, either watching them or in the corner. Heavyweight contender and all-round decent fella, Dave Allen. Dave, thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having me, mate. Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah,
this is a new show. Yeah, a new show I've not been on before, so looking forward to it.
Yeah, well, we chat about different things. John gets a bit angry from time to time if you talk over 3 minutes, that sort of thing. You'll get used to his bad temper, though. Where are you, before we get on with our 6 rounds of boxing chat, where are you in your career right now, Dave?
Not sure, really, to be honest. I had a good go the first time round, and I packed up over 3 years ago. There was too much skullduggery going on, really. I was messed about a hell of a lot the last 12 months of my career. And I called it a day. And then I always loved the boxing, and I missed it, and I came back, and just as hard now as it was when I was finishing off. So not really sure where I'm at the minute, to be honest. Not sure, but boxing's hard, I love boxing, but some people involved in boxing, they don't have to make it hard work. But if I'd done it right the first time round, then I'd probably be on a beach somewhere now. So maybe my own fault.
You say you never did it right the first time round, and you spoke about it before, but I think it's clear to see how much the sport still means to you. Like I saw you on Saturday with your journeyman, Ryan LeBourne, and there was still that frustration at the end of the fight that he never did that little bit more, which would have won him the fight. So I think it's clear to see that how much you still care for the sport, because going around the north of England and up and down the motorway with Ryan LeBourne isn't going to add to your bank balance, is it?
No, I was fuming, in the corner. I know he's winless in 9, but it's like
that was the one.
I've had some big nights, and I've had the David Price fight. If I won that, I was boxing Povetkin, and I've been involved in some massive fights. But Ryan LeBourne at Bolton football ground, wherever we were, in a 4-rounder meant just as much on that night. Believe me, the fella from the board was screaming at me. I had my head in the ring. I'm like, just fucking throw a punch, Ryan, for God's sake. But I just love boxing, mate, to be honest. Like I say, the business of it, the higher up you get, the harder it is. So I enjoy the smaller boxing. I love amateur boxing, because there's not as much bullshit going off. But yeah, Ryan LeBourne. Me and you love Ryan LeBourne, but he's bloody hard work to get him to throw a punch, isn't he?
He could have won that the other night. Well, he should have won it, but there you go.
Hey, has it surprised you how much you like getting involved with stuff like that? With these young kids, and how much you enjoy being in the gym and training them and seeing them come on. Has it surprised you how much you've taken to that?
Yeah, because obviously I've got a reputation of being lazy and messing about and all the rest of it. But yeah, the coach and managing side of things, really, it's I give it so much effort and time and care, really. I've got a 9-0 pro. I managed 5 pros. I've had fighters on DAZN, fighters on Sky Sports, schoolboy finalists, Yorkshire amateur champions. Mate, I love it. I love boxing. I really enjoy it. And I've been boxing 15 years now. I was a national amateur champion on the Great Britain development squad. I box all the best heavyweights in the world. I'm very good at what I do, but I let myself down a lot. And with the coaching, I give it 100%. Yeah, and obviously I'm back with the boxing, but the coaching something I wanted to put my everything into, just to show people that I could dedicate myself to something.
Here's one for you, Dave. One of Lillis's big whinges on here is when he's trying to make the matches, some managers and trainers getting a little bit busy and making it hard work for him. You've been matched probably above yourself early in your career. You took too many risks, maybe. What are you like when the phone goes and someone like Lillis offers you a offers you a 60-40 or something like that.
I've never offered him a 60-40.
It's difficult. Obviously, I've got a kid who's 9-0 as a pro. He only had 4 amateur fights, so we match him steady. You know, like I said, I've got a journeyman. You know, I'll take anything that's safe for him.
Yeah.
You know, there's different fights for different people. Like with my journeyman, I've got. He just needs to be safe. If he's safe, I'm happy. You know, we've saved shows on a day's notice before, because we thought it was safe. It didn't turn out to be as safe as I hoped it would be, but yeah, you got to take risks. I took a risk boxing Dylan White on a couple of weeks' notice, and then Ortiz, and it paid off. I'm a big believer in taking risks, but as I get older, and it's not my body at risk, I'm definitely a lot more cautious with others than I was myself. But I believed in myself, and I'm probably a bit of a nightmare myself, to be honest. Yeah.
John, should we just have a chat tonight, and just because this is good stuff with Dave?
Whip through your topics, but we'll keep the time limit off. Yeah.
We'll just have a chat and see if we get 6 rounds. We'll just chat away, I think, John, instead of having our rounds of boxing. Dave, what ambitions do you still have as a boxer?
It's a difficult question, really, because when I came back in 2021, you know what? The bee in my bonnet came when I got offered the Dubois fight. I got offered 300 grand to box Daniel Dubois, and I spoke to Eddie and we shook hands that he would get me the same money for a different fight, and it never came off. You know, that promise wasn't fulfilled, which was a big part of why I packed in, because I was upset, to be honest. My problem in my career was I was always too nice and too trusting, and I never signed a contract with anyone. I went fight by fight, and I never got that money. So when I came back in 2021, I was missing boxing, but my initial thought process was I just wanted to get that money, really. Kind of felt like I was owed that money. I was bitter about it for a long time. Then I got back in the gym and I started enjoying it. I boxed, I had a 4-rounder, and then I was on shows and the shows were falling through. Shows were getting cancelled, opponents weren't getting sanctioned, and I didn't box for another 8 months. I boxed in Newcastle. I thought, right, this is the one now. And there was another 11 months where I boxed in Malta. So my ambition was just like, I was all over the place, to be honest. Things weren't going my way. I've been offered 3 fights in 2 years since I've been back. I got offered Matt Madov in Canada on 5 weeks' notice, which I took. I actually accepted the fight. I was 20 odd stone. I rung my dad, and my dad said, "You're crazy, go back and say no." I got offered Fabio Wardley on 4 weeks' notice and 8 weeks' notice. And I was offered the Nathan Gorman fight as well last year. 3 fights in 2 years I've been offered, so it's frustrating. But the last couple of months I've been back sparring. I've been sparring loads of different heavyweights, and most of them are saying the best I've ever been in with. They've been sparring Wardley and Clark, and they said you're a different level to them altogether. So, but it's always been that way. I used to spar Anthony Joshua, and he'd always say, "You're going to be the next champion," and all this. Spar Tyson Fury, they couldn't believe how good I was. And then I box, and half the time you wouldn't think I could win a fucking area fucking title as amateur. So I just think my newfound maturity and stuff, I think I'm gonna do what I can do in the gym, because I've always been great in the gym, and then when you go into a fight, and I just shit myself, to be honest. Because in the gym I'm some fucking master boxer who turns southpaw, and I can see looking at your face, you're like, "He's surely not," but the God's honest truth. Sparred world champions, and it's what the day I sparred Usyk and he chinned me in the last round. Mate, I was boxing unbelievably. They couldn't believe how good I was. They said to me after, "When you box Tyson Fury, we'll bring you back," because they couldn't believe I was switch hitting and all this. And then as soon as the bell goes in a real fight, I just shit myself. Put my hands up, and I don't know, I panic. So the honest truth is, I ain't got a clue. I have ambitions of winning all sorts, but when the bell goes for real, I boxed Michael Bassett last time in Malta, and bless him, lovely bloke, but he weren't very good. And I thought, I'm going to get a few rounds in here and box. The bell went, and I just fucking swung a right hand within the first 3 seconds. And I would stop him in a minute, and I was devastated because I thought, fuck me, I have to come straight out the pub. Do you know what I mean? I was only weeks in the gym, sparring amazing, and I go and do that. So I don't even know at this point. I'm not even sure. It's crazy.
I said, well, we invited you on here tonight. I said, we usually do a different format tonight, but you said you were going to come up with a couple of topics just as you went along. What was one of your topics you might have chat about tonight on air?
Well, my topics are different. You know, I think boxing, small law boxing, like I was saying, I love small law boxing, but for me, small law boxing is booming in one sense, but in another, I go to shows, yeah,
nice.
7, 8 fight cards. I can tell you all 8 winners. I can tell you it's going to be 40-36, and it's shit. And people aren't stupid. Even people that don't know boxing come up to me at certain shows and go, "What's going off, Dave? Well, this fella's not trained." And that's my biggest issue with boxing at the minute. There's not enough competition, not enough value for money, to be honest. I can go to an Indian show for 40 quid, and I might be sat in the rafters, but I can watch some top class boxing, and I can watch 2 fellas coming to have a go. But you spend 100 quid, sit ringside at these small hall shows, and you're watching shit. Can I say that or not?
Talking about on here, Dave, a lot.
It's one of John's topics. This a lot.
There's a lot of kids who want to put professional boxer on their Instagram profile, sell tickets to their mates, and then do the victory tour for a couple of weeks after without ever actually going in with someone who wants to beat them, isn't there? And I think that's where a lot of it's falling down a little bit at the minute.
Yeah, you know, it's I go to shows and I don't enjoy them because, like I say, I check box rec Sunday morning, and I know what's going to happen. You know, you see the odd draw or the odd upset win, you think, bloody hell, you don't know the script.
Well, and everybody knows. Like, I know Daryl Tapfuma got an upset on the Cal Greaves show. That's how rare it is. You know, but the fact that we know about an upset when it does happen, that's well, it should be happening every week, shouldn't it? Really, there should be more home fighters getting turned over. But the fact that it's a talking point, it's sad. I think.
Is there something also? Go on, Dave. Sorry.
Well, as a matchmaker sees, how hard do you find it to make matches that are going to be competitive? How frustrating as a matchmaker do you find it putting a show together? What the results are going to be?
Very hard because you know the score, Dave. A lot of house fighters, the trainers. You know, it's not so much the fighters. I think a lot of it is trainers not wanting to let their kids go in, and that's where I think a lot of it is. You know, not all of them, and you know they just don't want trainers, or you know some of the away fighters, not many of them, but some. You know, they want to. You know, I'm not going to start naming managers on here and embarrass. I'm not here to put individuals down, but. You do, you know, people do, you know, like, you know, house fighters, not one of them, but that's much. You get managers who are terrified of their kids being stopped. You know, you get a kid who's had, you know, someone's asked me of a middleweight who's 2-0 for a show in London on 21st. He's had 2 fights, 2 knockouts. He's okay, but they won't put anyone near him because, you know, 28 days, lose pay, lose commission to these people who are just thinking in that direction. I think that's a big issue. A lot of it, you know, I'm not saying house fighters aren't to blame and trainers, but you'd be surprised the amount of way fighters who want guaranteed walk rounds. And so you're forced to go abroad.
I like journeyman. I love a good journeyman. I love them. You know, the Dale Harris Smiths, Jordan
Brilliant journeyman. Brilliant. Granham's brilliant.
Because these can box as well, but I manage a fight. He's had 9 fights. He's boxed 9 journeymen. But like a Jordan Granham, I just let him off. But like he's shackled sometimes, and it's a shame. But as you say, it works both ways sometimes. I manage kids, and the opponent, you know, you kind of, you know, you can't take the piss with them either. It's hard. It's like the away fight. Some away fighters don't want the away fighter to have a go. Sometimes the away fighter don't want the own fighter to have a go. So what? I'm just not sure where the in between is, and you know what the problem is as well. It's like it's too easy to turn a kid amateur to turn pro now because you know you can look after him. You know, whereas 40 years ago when my dad were pro boxing, you know, he had 60 amateur fights before he could turn pro. Because if he didn't, he was going to get beat up by a small fella that had 40 fights, even if he weren't very good. Because he was tough and he was experienced and he was always coming to try. So, you know, I guess small boxing for me at the minute is just it's not something I'm enjoying like I used to, I guess.
Dave, do you have like when a new kid approaches you to come in the gym or to man, do you have like criteria you want them to check off before you agree to work with them?
I manage well the kids I've got now. The 9-0 kid has 4 amateur fights, and I mean he's a bit good, but he's boxing genuine. You know, he's getting rounds in and he's good. The criteria is they've got to be able to fight.
Yeah,
I don't take kids on that can't fight. Simple as that. You know, some kids need more time than others. Like the kid I'm talking about there, he's 9-0 as a pro. He's still doing 4 rounders because he needs more time. He's essentially good enough to beat the journeyman at the minute, but he's not good enough for that next step. So he's doing what he's doing, but he's good enough and he has potential to go a lot further. The criteria is they must be good. I won't take some boxers. I'm not being horrible, and I'm not saying I'm a world class fighter, but some of these kids you see now, they shouldn't be approved by the board. They're that bad. There's some bad fighters about at the minute that shouldn't be approved. They're fucking terrible. Can I say all this or not? I'm
yeah,
not sure.
of course you can. Yeah, yeah.
There's some bad fighters about at the minute. I just think, how are they getting sanctioned to turn pro?
Yeah, I agree. You know, I think they sell tickets and they get on, don't they? I mean, you see it all over the country.
If a kid comes to me, I don't think we can win an area title. I wouldn't do it. Ryan LeBon, winless in 9. You know, when I started managing him 2 years ago, I thought he was going to win an area title. That was the plan. Didn't work out that way. He can't sell a ticket. He's had to go on the road because that's just the nature of the beast, the boxing game. But I thought he could win an area title. And obviously, it hasn't worked out that way. But if you can't win an area title, for me, you on the road. You know what? If you're not capable of boxing for a British title, why are you in the home corner? If you can't win it like an English title, because you're gonna lose. You're losing money. If I didn't think I could win a British title at this point, I'd be going around Europe like Sprott and Skelton when there was in the late 30s, was picking money up.
Yeah,
You know, that's what I'd be doing. You got to be realistic, and only because Wardley's a novice, Clark's a novice pro, Adelaide's a raw novice, I think I can beat him. You know, if Joshua and Joyce and that were still around, I'd be around Europe now doing 10 rounders. That's the truth. Some of these kids have really got to look hard at themselves and say, why am I in the home corner selling 60 tickets boxing for free? They might as well go on the road or pack in. That's the truth, in my opinion, because they're wasting the time and they're wasting the people that pay money to watch them's time. The kids, like I say, one kid at the minute I've got, he's boxing journeyman time after time, 4 rounds. But he has got the potential to go where he has got potential to become a British champion one day, maybe 5 or 6 years away. But I can see it. I know what I'm watching. But some of these kids, they couldn't beat these journeymen if they weren't fiddling their way through, and that annoys me as well. Because I get loads of stick.
I think a lot of them kid the mates on as well. That you know these are hard fights and stuff. The mates buy tickets, they watch the fight. They don't really know what they're watching. It can be as clear a 40-36 as day. Everyone knows what's happened. You're not even watching it and you know it's 40-36. But when the referee gets them in the middle and the announcer's about to announce the decision, the result, the fans have got their heads in their hand, haven't they, like bated breath waiting for the decision. And when we get the 40-36, they're up celebrating. And I think a few of these lads crack the mates on as well, that the fights are a bit more difficult than we're actually having.
It's a funny one because, like I said, the kid I manage, I tell him straight, I say, look, this is what it is. You know, sell your ticket. And he knows the crack.
Yeah.
You know, he's young and he's fresh. Your box fellas had 100 fights. You know, his main job isn't to win. His job's to try and get through.
Yeah.
You know, and I tell him, just fucking box. You're here to learn. The funny thing I seen a kid the other day, Steve. fucking not very good. Just tried hammering the journeyman, trying to stop him. And I thought, mate, what on earth are you doing? And I was in the corner with, I'm not even going to mention it because people know who it is. And the kids manager just said, what am I watching here? You know, they're just trying to bang these journeymen out. It's fucking ridiculous. And you know what annoys me the most? I see and these fighters aren't great, right? Their mates are the same people that met right on Twitter, Dave Allen's shit and he can't fight. And I think, mate, you were paying 50 quid to watch this fucking fella fucking box terribly. And you think he's a world beater. So it's a very
true. He's saying
it's a very frustrating game. But as a manager and trainer, I find it frustrating. But you have to play the game, you know. So it's hard, you know. I sit here and people probably watch this and go, well, you've got a kid that's kind of doing the same sometimes. And I think, yeah. So yeah, I understand, but that's the game, and you have to play the game sometimes to get where you need to get.
Dave, one of you reeled off some names there, the heavyweights, and you said it's a frustrating game. What do you make about the heavyweight division at the minute with literally no one fighting? You know, it's one of the topics we're going to talk about. Even at the British and English title level, none of them are willing to take each other on, let alone the world. And we all know that when the heavyweight division's thriving, the sport picks up, doesn't it? It creates interest right down the ladder. What do you make of this? You know, you credit, you come up short a couple of times, but you would take anyone on. But when you're watching from the outside now, what's your opinion on this?
I think it's just greed, really.
Yeah.
I mean, for us, like, if you offered me £1 million to box Fury, Wilder, Usyk, and Joshua one after the other, mate, I'm going to box them for £1 million. I'll box anyone for £1 million. Anyone at all. They're getting offered £100 million. So for us, I can't understand it. There's no one I wouldn't fight for him for £100 million. It's just greed. It has to be greed. You know, Fury, Usyk, Anthony Joshua, I firmly believe would box anyone. Deontay Wilder, I firmly believe would box anyone. I don't want to say that don't think that about others, but it don't look good for some of the others, to be honest. I don't understand it. I don't understand it. I don't get it. Like Fabio Wardley and Fraser Clark, that was embarrassing.
Madness.
Embarrassing. And it's like Solomon Dakers, the English champion. Nobody wants to box Solomon Dakers because he's good and he's fit and he's a big handful. If he had the British title, mate, I'd be calling his name. He's got the English title. So I'm a bit standoffish about it. I don't want to box him for the English title. Because where have I got to go if I lose that? You know, and that's... But if you're if Tyson Fury, how can he turn down 50 million quid? Alexander Hughes, how can he turn down 30 million quid? I just beggars belief, really. How much money's enough?
Oh, exactly.
I just don't get it. I mean, there's certain people that turn down certain fights, and I go, yeah, I understand it. But when there's millions of pounds involved, shuffling hell, there's no one I won't box.
Yeah.
Don't get it.
Very true. One of the other topics we got, it was one of yours, John, about TM's style coverage of boxing, John. Can you just, you know, add to that? And I want getting Dave's opinion on that.
It drives me fucking mad. And we all know the people we're talking about. We all know the video channels. But it's literally TMZ style reporting now. He said, she said, or what do you think about such and such a body saying this? I think a lot of the people asking these questions, we don't have much interest in the actual sport. They're more interested in schoolyard, schoolgirl gossip, trying to get someone to say something and then run around and tell tales. And I think a lot of these people would drop boxing in an instant if TMZ offered them a role interviewing at the fucking Brit Awards or something like that. But I just think it damages the sport because we know the promoters' egos are that big nowadays. It sets them against each other. It makes the fights harder to make, the fights the sport needs. And yeah, it was all well and good a few years ago when it all came on the scene and we all liked a bit of entertainment on the videos. But I just think it's got to a level now where I actually think it's doing the sport damage. this like TMZ entertainment style gossip kind of reporting that we're getting.
What do you think, Dave? 'Cause I think your career was helped by that sort of interview, wasn't it? You know, getting the hits on IFL, Boxing Social, etc.
It's difficult now because the man I was at 27, I'm not the same person at 31. I cringe me looking back at some of my behaviour and antics. And you know what? I was always a very quiet man, really. I'm quite quiet and quite introverted. And a lot of people think I'm like some mad party animal, drinker, fucking doing all this shit, mate. I've never drank in my life. I don't go out, I don't do anything. And I did you know what? I am fucking mental at times. That's kind of gone a little bit now. I've had kids and I've toned it down, but I did kind of play a character. And I did. And I was very clever with it. Eddie used to say, he said, "You're unbelievably clever. How you've done the social media and all this." I was a kid from Small Hall and headlined the O2. And I never really set the world alight in the ring. So yeah, I was smart with it. But now, as I'm older, mate, I ain't got time for none of that. I'm not even calling people out. Can't do it. I don't enjoy it. I don't do interviews. I speak to Wacky from BBTV. But I don't, and if someone wants to do an interview, I'll do it, but there's no interest. And like what John was just saying there about the YouTube channels, just fucking not bothered about the boxing because they're not. And I used to be on Twitter, me, and people don't watch the boxing. They say they're hardcore boxing fans. These big Twitter accounts, they're fucking assholes. I've not been on Twitter for years because I ended up fucking in bother, and I came off it, take myself away from it. But they don't give a fuck about the boxing. They haven't got a clue about boxing. They're just on there on about fucking Conor Benn, this drug cheating thing. That is bigger to them than Errol Spence against Crawford, the fight. Yeah. So the gossip of him failing a drug test or Fury on about his money and that's bigger to them than watching Spence and Crawford. They won't even watch Spence and Crawford. That's a great point, yeah. They won't even watch Spence and Crawford. And another thing, like, the boxing's on a Saturday night, right? And I was guilty of myself at the time because, again, I was selling myself as a product. The boxing's on, we're in the middle of the round, and they're tweeting random bullshit. They're even watching the boxing. They're not even watching what's in the ring. And they haven't got a clue what's going off in the ring. They haven't got a fucking clue. They think a brilliant boxer, someone that dances around the ring and throws a fucking 1-2. They ain't got a clue. They never watched Roberto Duran. They never watched fucking, Willie Pep. They never watched any fucking boxing. It's like a fucking EastEnders to these people. So I agree with what John's saying. And now I'm older and wiser and saying stuff. I get it.
You can have someone at a press conference for a British title fight or a world title, and the interviewer's asking them about some bullshit someone else in the division has said. Just the title we're fighting for, the fight we've got coming up, doesn't matter. That doesn't matter. Let's get some gossip going. Let's get some sound bites about a fight down the line. I think it's fucking pathetic, to be honest. Honestly, I do.
I do think. My missus even says, she's like, "Why don't you just do what you used to do? Because you get that, you get the Wardley fight easy." And I said, "Yeah, probably.
Get the elephant tongue out."
But get my cock out again. But I'm just in a different part of my life, really. You know what I always look at? I got an offer from BKB as well. I got a good fellows in touch telling me I could get this money and whatever else. I could put you in touch with the fellow in charge. But the most important thing to me now is A, I'm a father, B, I'm a trainer and manager, and C, I'm someone that a lot of people look up to. Because I think my old man said to me, he said, "I'm not proud of your boxing." He said, "You might have done loads of great things as a boxer and achieved things." He said, "But you was at like 10% of your potential because you fucked it up." He said, "But I'm very proud of all the things you did, mental health awareness. I'm very proud that you became somebody." And that always stuck with me. So now I'm a bit older and wiser. I want to be a role model. I want to carry myself the way I should have done before, because I weren't a good role model. I weren't a good influence on these people. And I see people now trying to recreate what I was doing years ago. I see them on social media, some boxers, and I just think, you ain't fucking got it, son. To be honest, it's embarrassing. You just ain't got it. So, do you know what I mean? So, with age and time, you grow up and you mature. And Do you know what? I'm much happier now being myself than I was being the fella I was before and making loads of money. So I'm much happier now, to be honest.
Dave, we only have this pod for about half an hour. We're coming out of time on the little clock I got here. John, is there anything else you want to ask, Dave? I know we changed the format tonight with rounds and usually have a bell ringing and all that. It was just nice to talk to you, Dave, because you are, I've got to know you more than last year, and you are quite a shy and, well, not shy, introverted person. I'd use more than shy, and it was just great to get your because when you do speak, you speak as you mean. So thanks very much. Is there anything you want to add, John?
No, do you know what? We've had a whinge, haven't we? We've had a bit of a whinge. So what are you looking forward to, Dave? We've all said shit things about boxing tonight. Let's end on a high. What's coming up that you're looking forward to, or what do you enjoy about
it? Obviously, first of all, I love boxing, and through even these smaller shows like the other day, that Jay Cabral, he's meant to be the real deal, isn't he? Yeah, he goes to these smaller shows, and through all the boring shit, there's a kid on every show where you go, he's good. He's good. He's going to make it. It's him on a big show in a couple of years. And I enjoy going to these shows now at times. You see a kid and you go, bloody hell. Joe Howard's another one. I know he got beat last time, but Joe Howard's exceptional. And I can't wait for 5 years' time. I can sit there with Miss and go, told you you were good, didn't I? And you can see him. So I love that. I love watching these young kids coming through, because there's some, there's a lot of shit out there. Like I said, there's a lot of people playing at the game and not very good. But every now and again, you spot one and you think, bloody hell, he's good. Like, you must think that, Steve, when you match.
Yeah.
Every now and again, there's a kid and you're just excited to watch him.
You know what? I like Cabral a lot, and I thought that the other night was so patient, and he knew he had to be switched on. Because that Gravin Mendoza is decent. He's had some good wins. I just thought his defence was spot on the other night. He was caught a couple of times. Near the end, I think he was caught with a shot. And I think maybe that was just him switching off because he'd come through the 5.5 rounds. I mean, he's very, very good. Joe Alf, his last performance, I was big on Joe. He really disappointed me against Josh Sanford in his performance that night.
I think Joe Alf will be British champion 100. I have no doubt in my mind about it. I think he's exceptional. I think he's one of the best prospects in British boxing. I think he's unbelievable. Well, that's what I enjoy about boxing. I'm on BoxRec every day, 2 hours a day on BoxRec. I need to know everything about everyone. Gravin Mendoza, mate, my kids ain't going to be Gravin Mendoza. Lester Espino. Keep Lester Espino as well. He got shot the other day, but keep him away.
That kid's a good fighter that beat him the other day. He's a good fighter, Ishmael. He's good.
You've got to be on the ball. You've got to be on the ball a bit. I'm looking forward to Crawford Spence.
Yeah.
Looking forward to that. That's the best fight in the last 10 years in boxing. Got to be. Unbelievable. That fight is just everything. I think Crawford wins, but I wouldn't be confident. Spencer's the bigger man, but he's making 147 forever. So I just love it. Yeah, the amateur boxing. I've got amateur boxing that starts back in September. I love boxing, mate. Yeah. I don't even mind watching a 40-36 every now and again. Some of them are all right. Some of them are sound.
I'll tell you what, Dave, it's been lovely having you on tonight. I hope you've enjoyed it, John, as well. And I hope everyone who's watching or listening who's downloaded this. Fantastic. And thanks very much, everyone, for watching, listening. Most of all, thanks to John, and the biggest thank you of all to Dave Allen. Thank you very much indeed, everybody.
Cheers, Steve.
For all boxing info, news and latest interviews, amateur and pro, across the north, click and subscribe. VIP Boxing Promotions. Also, Twitter, Instagram and Facebook.